Hey YouTube, it's AdamX20, and today, way earlier today, I received the news on Facebook that Wizards of the Coast is planning on a new edition of Dungeons and Dragons, which is coming shortly after the 4th edition. 4th edition didn't last very long, at least not as far as I remember. Didn't get very much fanfare, and it had supporters, but I think overwhelmingly it was considered a failure of an edition. So they are doing things much differently this year than they did with 4th edition. In 4th edition they kind of just dropped the idea on everybody, and it sounded like when they were releasing the idea of 4th edition was coming, and they were like bad-mouthing previous editions. And some people didn't like that, and it never really made it very far. DDI, Dungeons and Dragons Insider, digitalized the Dungeon and the Dragon magazines, and promised a really cool virtual game table, but that's still in beta, and to be honest with you, it just doesn't compete very well with the free virtual game tables that are out there. It has nice features, but they just don't. I don't think it competes very well with the free virtual game tables. That includes Trapes and map tools, and there's even Game Table, which is just a simple Java virtual game table. With 5th edition coming out, they are actually asking for player input and what they would like to see with the next edition, which I think is a huge step forward, and I think they should continue doing that. I guess the biggest problem I have with that is I'm not sure, it looks like they're limiting their streams of input to just community members and World, and I've got a horrendous problem with N-World. N-World is this organization. They're like they're just like a gaming forums, and they're like news and shit on games, but it's really specific to Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that's really cool, but what's not really cool is they have their Circus Maximus forums, which is they have a hate wiki on there, and it really pisses me off. Not just because I'm a part of it, and I have my own little profile on there where they just slam me with slander and libel. That's not at all what pisses me off. It's because they're alienating people with it's just outright bullshit, and it's just fucking narcissistic lies. And that's not all they have. They also have hidden in their folds of their web pages, they have Dungeons and Dragons pornography, where the game revolves around players who are involved in an elvish slave trade. And that's just, it's really upsetting that Wizards of the Coast would even participate with N-World when they have a game storyline that involves raping elf children. The DM who put the story and the adventure together was kind enough to note that one of the elven girls who's being taken advantage of in the story is 13 in human years. So the people who run N-World are mentally sick, and I guess unless Wizards of the Coast finally adopts realism instead of living with their fantasy world as the world, they're gonna have a hard time. N-World runs what can I say? I guess N-World has a big sway because they have a lot of fan base, and it's just they hide their bad doings, and it's not good. I just don't think it's good for Wizards of the Coast to adopt that as the mainstream of input either. They should probably stick with Facebook. They have a Facebook page, and that's where I learned of it. They should probably stick with Facebook, where the infighting is practically non-existent. Well, there's always Facebook. Facebook works as a mediator, and Facebook has to have their own neutral stance. They're going to think of Facebook first, where N-World is going to have people thinking of themselves. You know, they're going to have a really narcissistic approach, and I think it would be best if Wizards of the Coast adopted Facebook as their secondary mainstream of input, just to keep prejudices off of the boards. But I think it's good. I got a lot higher hopes for 5th edition than I have for 4th edition. I had for 4th edition. So 5th edition's coming out. I think if I'm not mistaken, I might be, because I just briefly read over some of the other web pages. But it sounds like 5th edition's going to be out in 2013, Gen Con. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if they're going to actually let me do any playtesting, but it'll be nice if I get involved somehow. I highly doubt it. But it'll be interesting nonetheless. So yeah, that's the big news for today. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I'm waiting to see it. Ubisoft didn't open up their forums like I wanted them to, so I don't have any information on Ghost Recon Future Soldier Beta, and my computer parts come tomorrow, which will be awesome fun. I will put that together, and I will be working on a new computer starting tomorrow, as long as I haven't broken anything when putting it together, as long as everything works as it should. So yeah, I guess that is the news for today. And I really got nothing else to talk about, so I will see you tomorrow. Bye, YouTube.